Hello. Okay. Hi. My name is Myron Brady, and I'm the freshman coordinator at Lawrence County High School. And when we started this, it's one of those things with great opportunities comes challenges. So we started several years ago with Google Classroom, and we utilized that for our NTI days. And some of us were really involved in it, and some of us were just trying to feel our way through it. And from this, the opportunity came that we were able to do one-to-one technology. So that was issued out through our high school. So it started out very simple with just Google Classroom. Everyone was kind of familiar with it. The students were familiar with it, and we could grow with it. As we moved on and we started dealing with KVEC and working with the teachers, we worked into the Activating Catholic and working to find ways to engage the students, because it became a situation where students were just on the computers every day. We factored that in. So what we decided, our freshman teachers, my freshman staff, really got on board, and they did some Google training, and they really wanted to engage the students. So we decided our first year we were going to go with KVEC, and we were going to use different programs where we could engage students, where we could get the curriculum across to them, and have active classrooms, and then from that, venture out and give it to the rest of the school, and the school started. So that is actually what we have put in place at Christmas of this year. We actually sat down with the entire high school staff and started them on this journey with us. So with our problem of practice, we wanted to engage students using technology, and that brought in our KVEC grant and what we were doing with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over to my teachers. I have Larissa Skaggs, who is our freshman math teacher who teaches algebra and geometry. And I have Autumn Belevins, who is our integrated social studies teacher. And they're going to talk about the different things that they have used in their classrooms and how it is really focused on student engagement and actually using the computers effectively in the classroom.
So as she said, whenever we first started this journey with our one-to-one technology, Google Classroom automatically kind of became the home base. That was already what we were using. The students kind of had an idea how to use it, and so did the teachers. So from Google Classroom, the easiest thing to begin using was Google Suites. So in the math classroom, for myself, my favorite is Google Forms, and that's what I give my quizzes with. We do a lot of formative assessments. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Blevins real quick so she can tell you how she uses the different Google Suites in her social studies classroom.
I'm Ms. Blevins, and I teach integrated social studies and an advanced placement world history course. And I've actually gone completely paperless in my classrooms, both the integrated social studies and the advanced placement course. And I utilize Google Classroom as my home base, just as Ms. Skaggs does herself. And a couple of other things that I like with the Google Suites, I do like Forms, and now they have lockdown browsers where students can take quizzes, and it locks down the browser so they can't go off somewhere else and maybe get some information. So you can truly test their knowledge skills. And also, I like to utilize something called Google Drawings in my social studies courses, because that allows students to create visuals with the concepts that we're talking about. And now, one of the problems that we've found is students having access on a computer allows them to kind of just go off wherever, whether it's YouTube, whether it's some type of movie. They're trying to watch whatever it is and not listen to you and not get engaged with the lesson. So we're going to talk a little bit about Hapara and the effects that that's had on engagement in our class.
So as she said, we found that need when we started using one-to-one technology and starting using Google Classroom and all of these different online resources and all of these different formative assessments. Okay, we see kids here and there drifting off and trying to be on this website and that website. So myself and one other teacher, we were actually at a KVEC meeting in Hazard, and another school district had brought up how they had Hapara. So we started investigating. We brought that back to our principal, Ms. Moore, and said, hey, we kind of see a need for this. We think this will be beneficial to ourselves as teachers and to our students. So we started out with just the freshman team with Hapara, and that KVEC purchased for us through our grant money, and it has been wonderful so far. So if you don't know about Hapara, it's kind of a lockdown browser. The teachers, we have access to see all of our students' screens. We can set them in focused browsing where they can only be on the one website that we want them to be on. I have a program. I also teach a algebra lab class, and that is an all online program through Alex. So what I like to do with Alex is during that 6th and 7th period is I will have it set to where that's the only thing they can get on. So they're not able to drift off and to do this and to do that. There's also, you can exit out of tabs if we see, if they're working on another assignment, we have the option to exit off of those, so they have to stay focused, and they are staying engaged through that. So that's kind of how I use it in my math classroom, and then I'll turn it over to Ms. Blevins for social studies.
One of the things I found with Hipara is that I'm able to personalize student learning. If I see that a student is struggling, I can direct them to a place to go and find information. I can also differentiate really well with using Hipara. But again, this is all about keeping students engaged in your class and developing these resources in order to better learn these concepts. And so Hipara has given us the ability to make sure that students are staying engaged in the content and we're able to personalize and differentiate their learning.
At first, Hipara was just for the freshman team. That was what it was first purchased for. And then as the freshman team, we started exploring it and really liking how that was going and how we were able to use that. Then we actually went ahead and used our KVEC money to purchase that for the rest of the school. So for the past month or so, the entire school has been able to use Hipara throughout all subject areas. One more thing we want to bring up, if you want to go to is Pear Deck. So we have also worked with Pear Deck and pairing that with Hipara and really being able to engage student learning with these two things together. So Pear Deck is now it's even more accessible than it has been in the past because you can use that with Google Forms. Has anybody ever used Pear Deck before? Okay, so it's now with, Google Slides, not Google Forms, Google Slides, and it is complete student interactive. You have a PowerPoint. They are able to answer questions as you go through. Within the Google form, they're able to do matching, do drawing, have multiple choice, all of these different options that they are completely engaged, and we're also able to monitor their screens with Hipara at the same time and really have just that full-on engagement nonstop all the time. So in the math classroom, that's kind of how we're using Pear Deck and Hipara, and then back to social studies.
Social studies can be very lecture-centered, and Pear Deck just gives me that opportunity to make sure that students are staying engaged within lectures and making sure that they fully understand the information that I'm talking about. You can instantly gauge whether or not a student is understanding of something.
Just to kind of wrap it up, I'm in the classroom a lot, so what I like to see about it is students, they're all on all different levels. So if I go into social studies, she may be talking about something that they're working on, like right now they're working with the presidential race and candidacy and stuff like that. And the students that have special needs have a picture in front of them that she is controlling so that they get access to that curriculum while she is talking about what is going on and they stay on task. So Hipara and the different things that we are using to kind of engage the students has really structured how we're going in the future with our one-to-one technology. Thank you.